Hey guys, what's up? It's Wit, and I'm back for another episode of Diz Connected. And joining me, of course, as always, via Skype, is my friend and fellow Disney enthusiast, Katie Carter. Hey, Katie.
Hey, Wit.
Hello. And Katie, I always say this, but we have so much to talk about today.
We really
do. We do. And it's a range of subjects, but mostly parks news is what we've got to talk about. But just a little life update, you know, I think when we did our last podcast, I was in the midst of finishing up school, which is crazy, but I did finish. I graduated. Yay! And for a little graduation trip celebration thing, I went to Walt Disney World for a week. So I was there May 8th through the 13th, I believe. And so, yeah, I was there before Pandora opened, but anyway, that's okay. So I'll talk a little bit about that trip, but we do have so much news to talk about, and so why don't we just get right into this? Are you ready, Katie?
I am ready.
All right, let's get into the Disney download.
Okay.
So first up, I kind of want to talk about the new nighttime spectacular at Magic Kingdom that everyone has been talking about. It's Happily Ever After, and the reason I want to start with that is because I was actually there for the premiere. Now, I missed out on, I just said I missed out on Pandora, but I was a few weeks early. But I did see this, and I actually saw one of the last nights of Wishes, and then got to be there for the very first night of Happily Ever After. And can I just say, it is amazing. Have you seen video?
I have seen snippets of video. I have not watched the entire show.
Okay.
But what I saw of it looked really, really awesome. So,
oh, yeah. Have you listened to the song with Jordan Fisher?
No.
Okay. Well, it's on iTunes. It's on Apple Music and all that stuff if you want to hear it. Disney did release that. It's very empowering, very magical. And who doesn't love Jordan Fisher at this point? I think everyone's obsessed. And also, he and the other girl, who I don't know her name, but they're the ones who sing it, they actually came out and did a live performance
really?
one night recently. It wasn't really announced or anything. They just kind of came out and did it. So that was
cool.
Yeah, and I think he's been there. Well, he has been there on vacation.
Yeah, he keeps posting things from Pandora and all of that. So it's kind of fun.
With a Hamilton castmate, right?
Yes. He was there with Andrew Chappelle from Hamilton. So that was fun.
But I did see Happily Ever After, and it is truly a spectacle. Now, I saw so many people who had on their Wishes shirts that they were selling at the park throughout that week, and people were really sad about it, and there was a huge crowd there. I heard the night that Wishes ended. There was also a huge crowd the night that Happily Ever After premiered. I was pretty close. I was actually not right in front of, but a bit in front of the ice cream shop on Main Street at the very end of Main Street, if you know what I'm talking about. So I had a pretty good view, and this is really a fireworks show, but also a castle projection show, and there's some pyro in there too, and it heavily features a variety of Disney movies, Disney animated classics, and there's not too much of the new stuff. It's a good balance. I think you got a little bit of Frozen in there, not too much, thank goodness. There's a section that is so cool, and I don't know if you saw this, but one of the cool things about it is that that animators came back and did some new animation to make this really work.
Some behind the scenes stuff for that, which that's awesome.
Really cool. And one of the things that they did, they made it so that these characters really, what they were doing worked with the castle and worked within the show. So, for example, there's a, spoiler here, but there's a spot where Mulan shoots off a cannon. And when she shoots off the cannon is going off of the castle. And as that happens, a firework goes off in the same direction. So it looks like she's shooting out the cannon. And Prince Eric, I think, throws a spear at Ursula, and you see a big firework after that. So it's really cool what they did, making that new animation. And how often are we getting new 2D animation anymore? I mean, that's really cool. Another highlight for me would be the fact that Hunchback of Notre Dame is featured in this. Quasimodo is going down that castle. It is a lot to look at because you're looking at all the fireworks and you're also having to look at the projections on the castle. I think I would like to see it multiple times so that I could watch, the fireworks one night and then really pay attention to the castle another night. But overall, it's still really, really amazing. Yeah.
Well, that sounds awesome. I'm jealous, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll
I'll
have
get
to
to see it
go.
someday. Someday.
Yeah, you'll have to go. And I'm sure it will be there for a while.
Yeah.
Wishes was there over a decade.
Yeah.
And before that, I think there was only one other fireworks show. They said this was like the third one in history for Magic Kingdom. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
And
what I've seen from other people, the reaction seems really positive. So I'm sure it'll be around for a long time, I would think.
And it's really neat to sort of see how much Disney has put on this castle projection or this projection technology, because that relies heavily on that. Like if something broke down or something, like they would not have that show, So
That's a good point.
Right, but I mean, I think it's a testament to how far they've come with that, because prior to this, there's been like 2 nighttime castle projection shows there, I do think. And I've seen both of those too, but this was just above and beyond anything. I mean, it's truly amazing. And just being there in that moment with so many other Disney fans, like I said, it was packed.
Yeah.
And everybody was just
I was wondering
so
how
excited.
busy it was opening night.
Crammed, packed.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to just be around all the fellow Disney freaks who were just so excited, as was I. And the clapping and just the chills the whole time, by the way. All the whole time.
Of course.
Just chills.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, but that's kind of the big highlight from my trip as far as what I saw, with the new attractions or whatever. But I do want to touch on a few other things from my little Disney, Walt Disney World adventure that I saw that they're not new, but they're new to me. And some of them are just in the past year or so. So since the last time I've been there before this trip, it was 2015. Yeah, summer 2015. And so the new things I saw, namely Animal Kingdom nighttime stuff. I saw Rivers of Light. Really enjoyed it.
Okay, good.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I really liked it. It's really cool. I like that there's no Disney characters or Disney music. It's an original sort of thing. It's really good. Like, it really is. And I would sort of rank it above maybe Illuminations at Epcot for a nighttime attraction or a nighttime show. I wouldn't put it, above like Fantasmic or now Happily Ever After, but yeah, I'd put it above Illuminations probably. I really liked it.
Cool.
Also, there's a Tree of Life show, Tree of Life Awakens, and that was really neat. That does have Disney characters and Disney music in it. So you've got like the Jungle Book and the Lion King and Bambi. So, just different ones that relate to animals. But yeah, doing Animal Kingdom at night was different, and it was also interesting. I always heard that, or it's always been said that the reason Animal Kingdom closed so early was because the animals, they got to go to sleep. It was weird to see cast members trying to get us out of there so quick after Rivers of Light ended. Like, there were cast members everywhere directing you to leave the park.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But I also saw some new stuff over at Magic Kingdom. I saw, besides Happily Ever After, I saw Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair, which is the new castle daytime show. Really cool. Loved seeing Tiana in her flapper dress.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yes.
I gotta say, I got there about 15 minutes before the show started, and there was like nobody there, so I was right up front for that, and that was nice. But then, of course, by the time the show really got started, there were so many people. A little bit disappointed, but not surprised by the fact that everyone was so excited when Anna and Elsa came out, and when Elsa sang Let It Go, not only the kids were freaking out, the parents were going insane over them. Yes, over Anna, Elsa, and Olaf. And
I would think that they would be sick of it through their kids by now.
I know. No, they were so excited. This one mom beside me was trying to take a selfie, not with her kid, with herself, and like Elsa in the background.
Okay.
Yes, that was a thing. So I wasn't crazy about that, but also that was the only place I want to say I saw the new Mickey and Minnie, like the new faces for them. That's like the only place I saw. Like, I met Mickey and Minnie at Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and they weren't the new faces. So
that's interesting.
So Yeah. And I also saw the Muppets show.
Oh yeah, how was that?
At Magic Kingdom. There are 2 shows. I saw one of them. I saw the one about Paul Revere. Loved it.
Nice.
It's so funny. The humor
I'm
is
sure it
great.
is.
There were a lot of parents who gathered around and looked very excited about this, and the kids, they just don't know who the Muppets are, which is another conversation.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But the humor, so good.
Glad that the
So
Muppets are in the park, though.
Yeah,
so,
and it's a good little
them.
area. Yeah, over there at Liberty Square and all of that. So it's a good, we were talking about that whenever it was announced, and it's a good fit. I really like it.
That's good.
And there's not much going on over there right now in Liberty Square because Hall of Presidents is closed. Refurbishment.
Anyway.
Anyway. In Epcot, I did not ride the Frozen Ever After ride. Not mad about it. No, I did not.
Was that like an on-purpose thing, or is it just you didn't feel like waiting for it? Or
Right. If I could have gotten a fast pass, I would have done it.
Okay.
But I couldn't get a fast pass.
How long was the standby line? Like how many minutes?
I don't even remember. Well over an hour.
I would have thought it would be
too much.
no more than an hour by now, but
no. And I wasn't waiting for anything that was like longer than 35 minutes on this whole trip. I'm sorry. I was trying to get stuff done. But I was with a friend who was like, well, the wait time for meeting Anna and Elsa isn't that long. And I was like, are you going to make me give up my hashtag Team Tangled religion here and go visit Anna and Elsa? And she was like, yes. So I do have to confirm that I went and met Anna and Elsa.
oh my goodness.
I did. Can you
How'd
believe
it
I
go?
did that? Oh, it was fine. I vlogged with them, so maybe stay
Okay.
tuned for a video. But I was actually more fascinated by the queue line for meeting them. It was really cool. Like, it was really cool. So yeah, I mean, that was just kind of a little random thing, but nice little queue line to meet them. But yeah, I did go against everything I believe in. Hashtag Team Tangled.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. All right, good. Okay, and then also in Epcot, I met Baymax. I hadn't done that before. That's relatively a newer thing, of course. And I met Joy and Sadness from Inside Out. And so those were fun. And then in Hollywood Studios, last but not least, I did all of the Star Wars stuff, which is really just a lot of meet and greets. So I met BB-8, took a selfie with BB-8.
Yay.
Are you jealous?
I am jealous.
Yes.
My favorite.
I met Chewbacca and I met Kylo Ren. BB-8 did move, which was really cool. And he reacted to what I was saying.
Aww.
And he posed for the selfie a little bit. Yeah, so that was the thing. And then Kylo Ren was weird. He doesn't say anything, which I wasn't expecting him to say anything. No, he doesn't say anything. He just kind of looks at you and then poses, and you pose with him.
Because when I met him at Disneyland last year, he was talking all about trying to get me to join the dark side and stuff. So that surprises
this Kylo
me.
Ren was not talking, so maybe it was just because I looked scared. I don't know. Chewbacca though was great. Best hug ever. Best hug ever.
Yes.
So good. Loved meeting Chewbacca. He was very talkative. I vlogged that as well. But yeah, so that's what I did at Hollywood Studios. I had not been to Hollywood Studios since, half of it closed down. So this was new to me to see how small it is now. And that's just, that's
Is it
weird.
sad?
And it's sad for me because I love movies so much, as I know you do too.
Right.
And to see that element of the park just pretty much gone. I mean, you have the Great Movie Ride and you have Hollywood Boulevard and Tower of Terror is still there and stuff. So you still have that feel, but it's not the same park. And it's really weird to walk back there and see how there's nothing. It's all closed. You can't get past the Toy Story area. You can't get past, that's all closed down. Could point out though, and I was telling you about this earlier, there were some tweets there were some pictures that were tweeted out recently where well, first of all, I've seen they have Toy Story Land signs up where they're showing under construction, coming soon. But then there were some aerial, I'm sure with a drone, pictures taken over Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land. Star Wars Land doesn't look like there's a lot of progress going on. Toy Story Land, they have the Slinky coaster, roller coaster kind of put together. So it looks like a lot of more progress has been made on that.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is really weird because I think I've seen where there's a lot of progress being made at Disneyland for Star Wars Land.
That's what it seems like,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so it's like they're a little behind at Hollywood Studios, but hey, maybe they're not going to open those at the same time. I don't know. Seems like they would, but or maybe they're doing two different sort of things. I don't know. We'll see. That's all in the future, but just wanted to point that out. So yeah, that's kind of my trip. I, of course, did not get to see Pandora. I went over to the area. I could see the big mountain. I could see that from the distance. And they were letting in cast members when I was there. And I was just like, huh. And I have a cast member friend, but it was like a ticketed thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But another trip. Even though it's not something that I've been over the moon excited about, I do want to see it. And it's now officially open. So what are your thoughts on what you've seen and what you've heard and what you've read?
I mean, it looks cool to me. I really like the way it looks at night. I think it looks beautiful at night. Other than that, I mean, I don't know much about. I mean, I know that there are rides there. I haven't heard a whole lot about them. I think I've heard some pretty positive things about the big ride. Isn't it called Flight of Passage?
Flight of Passage, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the animatronics look amazing, which I had seen footage of that before, and everything that I've seen since it opened, that's just kind of blown my mind with how real those look. But yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of feel like you do. Like, yeah, I'd like to see it, but I'm not like super hyped about it even after seeing everything since it's been opened.
I just want to go, to go.
I mean, but I'm not like...
It's not something where I'm dying to be there. And I wasn't, extremely disappointed not to get to see it on this trip. I wasn't going down there to do that.
Right.
So just the overall thought about this for me is that at a time when the trends of social media are to post aesthetically pleasing backgrounds, on social media, I think that this is like perfect to come out right now. And it's so funny how there's already, I think they're calling it the mossy grass wall or the mossy wall, I don't know, on Instagram, if you've seen that, because that's a thing. And I can't make fun of it because I took a purple wall picture at Magic Kingdom. I did. But so in a time when that is such a big deal, I feel like this land is so beautiful that it works for that, for sure. As far as the rides, you mentioned Flight of Passage. Great reviews on that. It's kind of like a Soarin' kind of thing, but yet everyone's saying do not compare this to Soarin' because it is so much better. And it's interesting how you are sitting like you're on like a bike or a motorcycle or something. Like you're not in a chair for it, which reminds me of the Tron thing from Shanghai. And so that's cool. And they say that you really feel you're on a banshee, which is like the little flying creature from Pandora. But you're feeling the banshee breathe, and there's lots of water apparently too that comes at you on that ride. But I've heard great reviews on that, and I think it would have really been bad had this stuff had some lame rides.
Right.
And then of course with the other ride, which is the Navi River Journey, I think that everyone's just been saying how beautiful that is, and you mentioned the animatronics, and that, I mean, wow, amazing. Like, come on. But yeah, overall for me, just the thought is this is very aesthetically pleasing, which is what we're all about these days. So yeah. But I mean, we waited a long time for this part.
A very long time, yeah.
Yeah, like 5 years at least, I want to say. Seems like.
Maybe, yeah. It's been a while. I mean.
And the movie's probably like.
The movie's
8 years old at this
almost
point?
10 years old?
Oh, almost 10.
Right? I think so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when it came out, but yeah.
I think it came out in 2009.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. And it was on TV the other night. It's really not that great. Like, come on. Like, the visuals are amazing, but yeah.
I mean, story-wise, it's not like that original.
No.
But, I mean, obviously, a lot of people did make a connection to it in some way. It is still the highest-grossing movie of all time worldwide, so...
But did people make enough of a connection to have a theme park around it? Because this is not Harry Potter. It's not Harry Potter.
I doubt it. I don't know. I just think it's
Yeah.
funny because people still just like hate on the movie a lot, but like simultaneously everyone's like seems really excited for the theme park.
Yeah. Why
So
not? Well,
I
I
don't
just don't
know.
think that people know enough. Like, for me, you said the connection thing. Like, I don't know enough about Pandora. Like, I guess I'll learn more when I go there. Like, it's not something where if I go to Harry Potter, it's like, I know the characters,
Right.
I know these places I'm looking at. Whereas Pandora, I'm like, I don't even remember what, like, oh, a banshee? Okay, yeah, you're right. That's what they're called. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know this world
Yeah, I
all
mean,
that
it's been
well.
so long since I've seen the movie. I think I'd go
Yeah.
there and be like, yeah, this looks nice, but I don't really know what I'm looking at
Right.
specifically.
Do you think it works well in Animal Kingdom? I think so.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it kind of blends with the look of the rest of the park, even though it is a separate deal.
Yeah.
And of course, like the whole universe of Avatar is so, it revolves so much around nature and all of that.
Conservation.
And yes, exactly. So I mean, it definitely works. I think within Animal Kingdom in that regard too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, an interesting little fun fact that I wanted to throw out is about Beastly Kingdom. Do you remember that, or have you heard about that before? It's that area where Avatar is. Was originally intended. It was Camp Minnie Mickey for so long, but it was originally intended to be an area where there would be like mythical creatures, like dragons. And so
Oh,
when you see the Animal Kingdom logo, like when you walk in the park, and then I even have like, I was at Animal Kingdom the first year it opened actually, and I have some merchandise and stuff that I still have where the dragon is featured. It's like the lineup of
yeah,
animals,
yeah.
and that dragon is in the middle.
Huh.
And that was supposed to be for an area called a Beastly Kingdom. Oh yeah, look it up. It's really fascinating.
I didn't know this.
Oh yes, you got to look that up. It's really
Okay.
fascinating.
Huh.
But so it's kind of like they did fulfill that in a way, even though Beastly Kingdom never happened. They did sort of bring kind of a mythical land
Yeah.
over there. So I do think that's cool too to think about. Of course, this was all put together by Joe Rohde. Well, he was kind of the mastermind, I guess. But also, of course, James Cameron and I think John Landau was he was one of the producers for Avatar, so he was a big help in this. And there was a Disney Parks blog did another like live stream for the dedication of the park and all that. And so you could see James Cameron talking to Bob Iger and stuff. But yeah, I did want to mention Joe Rohde because he, of course, is a very famous Imagineer, and he's been there, and people have been taking pictures with him. And he put out a message on social media, and it's really great if you want to read it. But he just talks about how there was doubt for not only Avatar Land or Pandora, but also the other ride across the country that we're going to talk about next, which is Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. There was just he said there was a lot of doubt initially about how nobody cared about these lands or these attractions or anything. That's what people were worried about, but yet the reaction was really positive for both of them. And he was just talking about how storytelling was so important, and if you bring a good story, you're gonna, I guess, and this is not what he said, but haters gonna hate, I guess.
Right,
So,
right.
jumping across the country, of course, to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. This was announced, and the reaction was indifferent, but Tower of Terror got remade over at DCA. You've seen stuff about this too?
I've seen a lot about this.
Yeah, yeah. What do you
And
think? Because you're the Marvel one between us, and you like Guardians of
seeing
the
everything
Galaxy.
about it has made me a lot more excited to go to Disneyland this summer.
Yeah.
And I was like very, very doubtful when it was first announced. I was one of those people who was
You were the
like,
doubter.
why are you getting rid of Tower of Terror? This doesn't fit in with the theme of that area of the park. What are you doing? Tower's a classic, blah, blah, blah. But from what I've seen, I think that the ride looks great, and I've heard great things about the ride itself, that it's longer than Tower. There's more drops. They bring in all the retro music that they use in the movies, so you get to, they play songs as you ride. And I guess like every time you ride, you might get a different song.
Right.
I don't know like the specifics about it, but I think there's a story that kind of goes along with it,
Right.
of course, too. So Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it looks awesome. So, sorry I was hating on it. I
Sorry, Tara
apologize.
Brody.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been really surprised to see how much people have been enjoying it too. But um, the outside exterior is a little funky, not gonna lie. Like, just the look of what they did to
I've
Tower
heard
of
from
Terror.
people though that like who have actually been there that
Yeah.
they saw it online and were just like, and then they saw it in person and it was like,
Okay.
whoa. So
Yeah.
maybe in
Okay.
person it's more impressive, but
Gotcha. Yeah. But they have said that like there's more drops than Tower of Terror in this. And I also think that it's very contrasting to Tower of Terror. Like it's not such a scary ride. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
Tower
yeah,
of Terror is, Tower of Terror.
right,
But this is a little bit more fun and lighthearted.
right.
So there's that. But yeah, you were mentioning the music. I think that's really cool. I've watched some videos. They used a lot, or they let a lot of press coverage
Yes.
happen for this. And there was like a viral guy who was like screaming at one of
There
the
were,
reporters.
I saw one article that put
Several.
together like several clips from different stations. It was like three or four
Uh-huh.
different people who were just freaking out
I was like,
on
really,
this
people?
ride. I was like, did you guys
Really?
not ride Tower? Like, come on now.
Apparently not. But like the music you were mentioning, I've heard like hit me with your best shot. It was one that I saw. Just different ones in there,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's kind of a big point in the movie too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand.
It is. You need to watch
Yeah,
them. You
yeah,
really
I
need
do.
to.
I do. I will. I'll try. Yeah, and then there is a story with it, and there's also an animatronic of the raccoon. Like in Tower of Terror, you go in the little room and you watch the
Right.
movie. About the Twilight Zone, but this is actually has like an animatronic that sets up the story. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. What's the raccoon's name?
Rocket.
Rocket. Yeah. So yeah. And don't you just love how Chris Pratt is in a Disney attraction? Like, how did that happen?
I don't understand how most of Chris Pratt's career has happened, but
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, and there's like lots of little Easter eggs in the queue for this ride too. There's like a Figment Figment is hidden somewhere in there. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, pretty big success. Along with Pandora, World of Avatar. The wait times I saw on Twitter were insane for both. The past few days, because they've only been open since this past weekend,
Yeah.
or since Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, so fun little official kickoff for the summer. They're also doing like a Marvel celebration kind of thing in DCA. I understand this
Yeah,
summer
it's
too.
called Summer of Heroes. So they've got like
Yeah.
a meet and greet with Groot going on right now.
Groot.
He looks really cool. There's some sort of like dance party thing with the characters, I think, and other stuff. So and it looks like there's I think kind of like the Jedi Training Academy, but with Marvel superheroes with Black Widow
Gotcha.
and all of that. So so it looks fun. It looks like they're trying to bring Marvel more into the park now, which I'm still not sure how I feel about that overall. But I think this little
Yeah.
aspect of it in there is fine. So
Yeah. Obviously, they can't do so much with Marvel at Walt Disney World. However, going back across the country really quick, at Hollywood Studios, there is a new nighttime projection show on the Grauman's Chinese Theater, which was not announced. It was just kind of a thing that happened the day of. I think there were a few tweets that I saw where people were speculating something was going to happen. So, really cool. It's more of a celebration of live action Disney movies. And that's awesome, if you ask me. But there was... Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas was featured in it. So that was kind of like a
nice.
random, not live action one in there.
Well, yeah,
But yeah,
that's
but if you
awesome.
haven't seen that, go check it out, because that's really cool to me, to see that Hollywood Studios is sticking, like, even though we're seeing so much change in the park, they are celebrating movies still. And with this show, you see that, and it actually looks really good. Like the projection on the theater looks really good if you want to check that out. But did you see any of that?
I did not. I think I saw a picture or two, but
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that makes me excited because I feel like the live action movies don't really get as much love. And I don't know. I mean, you probably know more about what movies were in there. I don't know if they feature like a lot of like the really classic like Disney Studios, or it's more like,
Right. I wish
you
they would have
know,
done more of the classics,
because I love like
from
those
Walt Disney. Oh, I
old
know. Me
classic
too.
ones with Haley Mills and Fred McMurray and all those. Like, I would love to see something with that. But
Yes. Now, can I just tell you, I had so much more time on this trip because I wasn't like with my family or anything.
right.
And I went to the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse at
Aw,
Magic Kingdom, and it made me so happy.
yay.
Like, I had time to go do that, and it just
Well,
made me
that's
so
nice.
happy. And then, but yet
I love that
again, like there
movie.
were kids asking their parents, "What is this?" And the parents were like, "Oh, it's a show where they get stranded on an island." And it makes me like so. It's a show, Katie. It's a show where they get stranded on an island. Anyway, it makes me
Oh
frustrated
my
that like
gosh.
I'm a little worried, and this is again, I keep saying another conversation, and we can talk about this another time more. But it makes me worried that like new generations are not being introduced to those movies. Ugh.
I mean, probably not as much. I mean, there are certain movies that are classics today and they always will be, and there are
Yeah.
others that are just kind of gonna fade
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, anybody listening, make sure you show your kids these movies, please.
Coming on Turner Classic Movies very tonight, this
Tonight,
weekend.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, by the time this podcast is out, it won't be
Yes.
tonight. But yeah. But yeah, Pollyanna is coming on tonight. Yay.
I love Pollyanna.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, back to this. Back
That's
to
like
the
a whole
show.
other
Yeah,
discussion.
there's not too much of the classic. I feel like Zorro was in there. I want to say, but
Oh, okay.
there's a little bit of the old stuff. But of course, it's also like Beauty and the Beast live action and Jungle Book live action and Cinderella live action. So it's stuff like that.
No thanks.
You're right. But there's a little bit. There's a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, and Newsies is in there, so that was cool. Another quick show that I want to talk about is the Pixar like symphony show that's happening at Hollywood
yeah.
Studios, and I actually checked that out on YouTube. I had time on my hands, so I was like, let me do this. It's happening at the theater where Beauty and the Beast is done at Hollywood Studios, but it just at night. And so that's going to be happening for a while, but there's a symphony orchestra, and the characters from the Pixar movies like come out in between the songs, and it's like a lot of them, like the Incredibles and the Toy Story characters. The Up characters are out there, including Mr. Fredricksen. Like he's
Oh,
out there. That's really cool.
it's fun.
And then there's also like video on an LED wall with like John Lasseter and Randy Newman talking a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, it's cool. You get songs from several of the different Pixar movies. And yeah, I mean, it's like an hour long. So I feel
Oh
like
wow.
that's a lot. That's a long time
It's
for
kind
a
of
park show.
like the Broadway style shows in DCA, like Frozen right now. That's close to an hour.
That's true. That's
So,
true. I feel like for the right audience too.
yeah.
Like, like you and me, we'd go
oh
see
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure.
But I don't think just the average park goer would necessarily be interested so
Right.
much. So that's all of parks news. Let's hit on some other stuff really quick. In movie news, there's a lot of like home movie release information coming out. Beauty and the Beast Blu-ray is coming out this upcoming week. So June 6th, you'll be able to get the live action Beauty and the Beast on Blu-ray and on digital download. I love that both of them are happening on the same day. It irritates me so much how like it's always like
Oh,
digital
don't
download,
even get
like,
me
2 weeks
started on
ahead.
that. Do not even get me started on that. I hate that. That's
I
like
know.
the biggest pet peeve of mine.
It
I can't tell you
is.
how many times I've gone looking for a Blu-ray and realized that it was just on download.
It's annoying.
Anyway,
It's very annoying.
anyway.
But they're doing it on the same day for this.
That's
So
good.
thank you, Disney. But I have been cracking up at some of the stuff they've been releasing for bonus features behind
Yeah.
the scenes. Yeah.
The Beast, like, oh, what do you get? The suit that he has to
Uh-huh.
wear to do the
Yeah.
motion capture.
So funny.
It is funny.
Emma Watson. I mean, I think about it. I'm like, well, Emma Watson really grew up doing green
That's
screen
true.
stuff, so it's
That's
probably
true.
not that funny to her. But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
It is.
So,
It is.
Well, and it was really interesting. I saw one where like Dan Stevens, he recorded all of that where he was like, in the suit, but then he had to go back and do face, like filming for his face, like the facial stuff too. So that's really interesting. So cannot wait to see all of the bonus features on that Blu-ray. Very excited for that. Excited to watch the movie again too. Also coming out, Bambi is going to be released on Blu-ray, and that was released on download first. So yeah, I've been seeing all this, but is it the 75th anniversary, I believe, is what we're celebrating for this Bambi Blu-ray? I think it is.
It should be.
I think it's the
so.
75th, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's happening. I think I have Bambi on Blu-ray. So...
I have it on DVD.
Okay, well,
So
maybe
I
you'll
might
be
need to
buying the Blu-ray.
upgrade, you know.
I'll have to check, but I think I have it on Blu-ray. Okay, and then also back to digital download, Newsies is now available, and that's really cool. I've not downloaded and watched, but I probably will at some point. So because I'm just happy to be able to have the cast recording, the stage recording of Newsies available to watch. Now, would I prefer a Blu-ray? Yes, I would, but at least we got the digital download, so that's all we're getting. And then this is not a movie, but it was announced, there's been this whole music CD collection, legacy collection series that they've done. I think they've done Little Mermaid and Sleeping Beauty and other ones in the past, but they've announced that this summer they're going to do a Robin Hood legacy CD release. And I think that's really cool. Like a Robin Hood soundtrack.
Yeah.
Didn't even know that would be a thing.
Doesn't get that much love, so
no,
that's exciting.
So oodalali, golly, what a day. TV news really quick. First, I'll just hit on the announcement that Descendants 2 and the spinoff for That's So Raven, which is called Raven's Home, it's been announced those will be premiering on July 21st. Yeah. So that's happening. Oh, and that was announced actually the night of the Radio Disney Music Awards. Not that I watched the Radio Disney Music Awards, but I watched the Radio Disney Music Awards. And can I just say that there was an awesome performance with Jordan Fisher, Alessia Cara, and what is her name? Ali E.
Wait, come on.
Yes, Ali E. Carvalho. Yes, from Moana. There was an amazing performance of How Far I'll Go. Did you see it?
I didn't see it, but I saw things about it.
Yes, it was so good. Well, Jordan Fisher came out and actually sang You're Welcome first, but it was really good. There's like a little trio. It was really good. And so Raven's Home, I'm a little bit excited about and intrigued by since I did grow up watching That's So Raven. They have released That's So Raven, like the full series can be viewed on the Disney Channel app and also on demand. So if you want to go back and watch That's So Raven, I'm pretty sure I watched every episode as they originally aired, but, never hurts to go back and relive the glory days of Disney Channel, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't really watch it when it first aired, so I might have to go back and see some of it now that it's on there.
I feel like it probably holds up.
I'm sure it does. Raven's always funny, so.
Yeah, it was a very solid comedy, sitcom series, yeah. So that's happening. Oh, and then I'll let you talk about this news. There's some news about DuckTales.
Hey. Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda, it was just announced, is voicing the villain in the DuckTales reboot. So that's exciting. I'm blanking on the name of the character now. Do you remember?
He's like the half robot or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all I've really got for news. I'm sure there's stuff we're leaving out, but just wanted to hit on those really quickly and talk about the big topics with Pandora and Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Let's get into our discussions and share our thoughts on the two latest Disney movie releases, one being a Marvel release. But let's start with, why don't we start with the Marvel release since that came out first and quickly get your thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, because I did not see this movie because I never saw Volume 1, so yeah.
You really should, because
I will.
I mean, you need to. As far as sequels go, it's a really, really good sequel that holds up to the original one so well. In some aspects, it's not quite as fresh. In some ways, it's a bit better. But it's such a fun movie. And it's set, I don't know exactly how long after the first one, but you have like the whole team together now. And then they bring in a new character in the form of Kurt Russell, who plays Star-Lord's father, who he'd never met before. He'd been out of his life. So he comes in as a new character. There's some conflict there. They kind of go the way of splitting up the characters and having them all on their own adventure throughout most of the movie and then coming together at the end. But it works so well. It doesn't feel like there's too much going on, or when you're watching one part of the movie, you're not thinking, oh, I want to be seeing what these other characters are doing instead. All the characters are back. Chris Pratt is Star-Lord. Zoe Saldana is Gamora. Bradley Cooper's voicing Rocket, who is really the raccoon, who's really the character that I maybe had the most issue with, which really wasn't like an issue. Just to get nitpicky, I think that they kind of capitalized on the excitement over that character and his sense of humor in the first movie and played it up a bit too much in the sequel here. But it was still funny, even though it was kind of overkill. It was still always funny. Great music, great special effects. There's a lot more that I could say about it, honestly, but yeah, it's really solid.
Did you mention Baby Groot?
I did not mention Baby Groot, but Baby Groot steals the show.
Yeah.
Very cute. I mean, obviously used as comic relief along with Rocket, but I will say with the Guardians movies, I felt this way after seeing the first one, and I felt this way again after the second one. And it just makes me think so much of Star Wars, even though it's not Star Wars, but they just take you to all of these different worlds, and you just see, like, in the background, like, even characters you aren't introduced to, there's just all these different, like, species and things going on and different technologies that they have, and it makes you feel like you're just living in this crazy universe, and there's so much going on, and there's so many other stories out there that they could draw from. So I love that about this universe, and that it's still, even though they're kind of more and more setting up things to connect it with the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe, it still is its own thing separate from Avengers and all of that. So I really love that too.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, I'm so behind on the Marvel Universe, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best to catch up. So I'm an unemployed college graduate, so I got a little time on my hands. So maybe we'll work on that this summer. Okay, well, the other new release is the 5th installment in the Pirates of the Caribbean series. It's called Dead Men Tell No Tales. I saw this. You saw this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just jump in and say that, like, I cannot believe we're on the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Like, that's weird to even think about. So the first Pirates was on TV the other night, and I just watched it, and it was like, how did we
Right.
get so far away from, like, this? Because the first one was so, like, I mean, it was unexpected that it was going to be a hit, right? And so it was just such a nice surprise at how cool the movie was and just really good. So I don't know. Not that this new one is, like, terrible, but it's just like, why did we make this series, like, why do we drag it on from something that was so good? You know,
Right.
I don't know.
Because they keep making money, so
Of course.
they're gonna keep making more until they don't make money anymore.
It's mostly international, though, because, like, it's not.
That's true.
They haven't been doing so hot domestically. But anyway. But yeah, so Pirates 5, it's Jack Sparrow's back, and this story actually kind of brings us back to the original trilogy a little bit, because you bring in Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann. You have their son in this, and his name's Ben. Did I totally get that wrong?
Isn't it Henry?
Henry.
Henry,
Okay.
right?
Why did I say Ben? Maybe that's his real name. I don't know. I don't think so. Where did I get Ben from?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
So you have their son, and his name is Henry. And so Henry Turner is kind of the new character. And then you also have another girl, and I don't ever remember names. But anyway, so they're kind of in search of what the Poseidon's Trident is what they're after in this movie. And they're going to do this because Henry Turner is trying to break his father from a curse, and then the girl is, like, trying to follow her father's path, and we'll get into spoilers here. Her father ends up being Captain Barbossa, And so yeah, and then there's this whole villain with Javier Bardem, and it's like ghost pirates, and there's ghost sharks, and then you've got Johnny Depp back as Captain Jack Sparrow, and it's just everything. So it's a fun escape for like 2 hours. But as far as what it brings to like storytelling within this franchise, I don't get it. But again, it's a fun escape for 2 hours.
I mean, I found myself getting kind of bored at parts. There were parts I was like, okay, this is fine. And then I was just kind of, my mind was elsewhere. And I think a lot of it, I mean, they try, and it feels like they're trying to duplicate so much from the first movie. Like you have that undead army again, like undead sailors. The two new leads are, like, you can tell they're trying to make them like Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann, but they're not them. So it's just like not as great.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We've seen this before.
Yeah.
We've seen it. And it's just like, we've seen it better.
Right. Right.
This also didn't have much variety. Like, I think the fourth movie, actually, one of the reasons I didn't hate it so much is because there was a lot of like, there were mermaids and we were like on an island and stuff. So I didn't really mind the fourth movie. It doesn't really do anything with the franchise, but anyway, Stranger Tides. Yeah. So, but nothing's going to top the first movie. I think the second one actually might be my favorite. Dead Man's Chest. I've always really liked that one.
I
not
like
a
both
fan
the
of the
first
third.
two a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Not a
mean,
fan of the third.
no.
And do you remember how the second and third movie came out like a few months apart? You remember that? Like it was like one
What?
came out, yeah, or maybe
Nuh-uh.
like less than a year apart. I promise. Like it was
I'm
like Harry
sure.
Potter. It was like Harry Potter 1 and 2, or part 1 and 2.
I don't believe you. Hang on.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. It was like they came out just right back to back. And I did not like the third one, and I thought that would have definitely been the end. But I think there's one more of these coming our way.
Well, the thing is, if you've seen this movie, and did you stay for the end credit scene?
No, I didn't think there was one.
Oh, there's an end credit scene.
Oh,
let me tell
what
you.
is it?
Would you like me to tell you about it?
Yes.
So what it is it's Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann. Of course, they're reunited at the end of this movie, which is by far the best part. And
Oh, yes.
I was so satisfied with that I was like mad that the rest of the movie was so crappy, because that moment was so good to see them
Yeah.
together. Of course, they had already released like a brief snippet of Keira Knightley in some of the teasers, which I was like, why didn't you just leave that as a surprise? Because she's been saying all this time that she's not going back to it, and that would have been like a great surprise. But anyway, so it ends with them getting back together. Will's curse is broken, where he was supposed to sail on the Flying Dutchman forever. At the end of the credits, there's a scene where we see the two of them. They're sleeping in bed, and then something starts like creeping into their bedroom, and you see a shadow on the wall, and it looks like Davy Jones. And Will wakes up and he looks around, there's nothing there. He realizes it's a dream. He goes back to sleep. Then we see on the floor there's like some like goopy stuff from like
Oh my goodness.
Davy Jones to show that he was there. So it looks like they're setting up possibly like maybe this would be the first of a new trilogy
Oh my goodness.
that would bring back Davy Jones and this deal that he had made with Will to be on the Flying Dutchman and all that.
Well,
So
I
mean,
missed that, but I thought I read somewhere that there wasn't an end credit. So what was I thinking? Okay, maybe I was just like ready to get out of there. No, I'm kidding. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I feel like in the commercials and the promos and stuff I've seen for this, though, they've advertised it as like the beginning of the end or something. So like the beginning of the final chapter. So I feel like there might just be one more, but maybe not. I just wish they would just sort of let it go.
Hey.
Like, also, it's really strange to think about how Keira Knightley was like a
I
teenager
know.
when the first movie was done, and like
that was like her big
yeah,
break.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
weird,
was weird.
strange.
Yeah, they're all so
but
old now.
overall, oh yeah, they're so old.
They are.
But
Even like Johnny
but-
Depp, like watching the first one the other night
Yeah,
after just seeing
it's
this
really
one,
young.
like even with all the makeup and everything, like Well, actually, I noticed he's wearing a lot more makeup in the new movies than he was in the first one. Like, they've really kind of played up that aspect of the character a lot, but...
White people age very much. Anyway, can't get away with it. No. But yeah, so again, I thought this was for a 2-hour escape, at the movies, it's fine. But like the bigger picture of things, I don't know why we're still making these movies. Let's stop. Like, come on.
Please.
So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, though, okay, so that's our thoughts on Pirates, and Katie, you got her thoughts on Guardians there.
Yeah, go see Guardians instead.
Yeah, probably. But hey, we've got a big summer of Disney things happening. We've got, coming up in the coming weeks, we've got Cars 3, which I'm pumped about.
I forgot about that.
No, I'm pumped about Cars 3. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well.
I'm sorry. Like, it is making me forget that Cars 2 ever happened, okay? Yeah, I'm excited for Cars 3. We've also got Spider-Man. Like,
Very
it's
excited
gonna
for
be
Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And of course, the D23 Expo.
Hey.
I'm still trying to go, so
You better hurry
see
up.
what happens. Hey, I'm for real. I'm for real working on it. So, for real. We got some stuff happening this summer, and so, yeah, it's going to be fun. And hopefully we'll be able to come back and do some more podcasts. I'd love to do like another series like we did with the animation, but something different. Maybe, apparently we both have a love for Disney live action.
Yes.
So, all right, Katie. Well, I think that is all for this episode of Diz Connected. Thanks so much for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me.
And everyone who's listening, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Diz Connected. Be sure to follow us on social media for more content at Disney_connected on Instagram. I'm going to be sharing some of my Walt Disney World vacation pics on there soon. So go give us a follow over there. And until next time, have a magical day, and I'll see you real soon, folks.